doing the effects. We're here every Wednesday. If this is the first time that you're tuning in to Joy FM around this time, well, we're here every Wednesday from 7 o'clock till 8 o'clock, and we have really amazing conversations about a lot of different things in different accents. So, it might be British, might be American, might be Portuguese, you never really know. But tonight, we're talking about toxic masculinity. So, okay, first of all, let me say a big thank you to Koji Yangson because we were kind of chit chatting and he brought up the topic. And so thanks, Kojo, for that. But we're talking about toxic masculinity because it's a phrase that people throw around a lot. You'll hear this guy's so toxic, and it's a lot of toxic masculinity going on. And a lot of times you're actually wondering whether those who are calling people out for toxic masculinity actually know exactly what it is, and if we're actually identifying the right things as toxic, or it's actually what our society has come to accept over the years, and so how do we then move into a place of non-toxicity? So that's the conversation that we're having. We are interactive, so our text lines are open: 055 1111997. And who knows, maybe we'll open the phone lines a little later, but I really just want us to delve into the conversation. We're also live on Twitter, so you can watch us there. So I have usual suspects tonight. I have Isina Batali, who is a few minutes away, so she's going to join us in a second. But I also have Adipa. I haven't had her on for a while. We missed you.
I've missed you too.
So Adipa is also joining us. So let's get right into the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So the toxic masculinity in Eddie.
Okay, so I also got to know that it's a word that is being thrown around lately. But I did a bit of research. I just wanted to understand what that phenomenon is, where it's coming from, and how it has come to find its place, let's say, within our environment. Maybe it has become more like a jargon or a loose word that we throw about. But historically, we are informed that it came out of the fourth generation feminist groups.
I see.
Yes, fourth generation feminist groups. So it's not too long, maybe some decade and a half.
Okay, yeah, because it's not really a phrase that we were used to growing
Exactly.
up. Yeah, for those of us very old people.
Exactly. But we all understand how the feminists started their work when they felt that women must be given a voice, the right to vote, the right to participate in, let's say, universal adult suffrage. I think that's how this whole conversation about feminism started. So at a point, some men felt like, no, are we giving them too much? This equality thing has been on since the 70s. Women fighting for equality, leading to the Beijing conference and all. And some men have started feeling peeved that are we giving them too much? Are we feeling less than men?
Okay.
This is a man's role. Is the woman taking over?
Okay.
All right. So there are a particular sect of men who believe that, no, the original place of a woman is not in a courtroom, but in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
And so a woman must be forced to be in the kitchen so that the man, can go out and work and come so that the woman can cook. There are some men who are still steeped in those thoughts. So they are masculine. But part of the masculinity is a toxic idea. It's nuanced, but it's a toxic idea that seeks to control, dominate, and exercise, so dominate the environment within which the man finds himself. So it's not particularly in a marital or home relationship, but you see it in the workplace, you see it at church, you see it probably in the mosque, you see it in the market, wherever you are, or wherever you find males, you will find one or two of them exhibiting such characteristics. So yes, there is a phenomenon called toxic masculinity, but as to how we are applying that very well in our already patriarchal system. It's what we must come up for discussion. That's my opinion.
That's very interesting, and thank you very much for that background and history. It really makes sense, because when you hear people talk about it, they're talking about it in very trivial,
Yes.
very light.
Yes.
But then again, it's the kind of mindset that will seep through from the major to the minor.
Yes.
So it can reflect in major decision making in corporate structures or in workplaces. And it can also reflect in little things such as, I'm not going to help you to bath for the children.
Yes.
Or I'm not going to change diapers, because
No.
men don't do that.
Men don't do that. Yes. So when I was thinking through this whole topic and looking at our Ghanaian and African society, I realized that to us it's no new phenomenon.
It's just a new phrase.
It's a new phrase, for an old system. Because ours have been a very steeped patriarchy. Men dominate. Naturally, I think now it's getting better. Our mothers told us theirs were better. So I can imagine the days of my grandmother. You had no voice. You had no say. Who your father says you should marry is who you are marrying.
Yeah.
You don't have an option.
And your brothers have to agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How you are educated is your father's sole decision, an idea. So your mother has no say. Oh, papa saw my uncle school. I mean to me,
You remember when we were growing up, this song that came out, send your girl child to school, send your, right now in urban Accra or cosmopolitan Accra, a campaign like that may not resonate as much, because you'll be like, I mean, if I told my 13-year-old, my 14-year-old daughter that, there's a campaign to send girls to school, it would be very foreign to her. Like, I mean,
what do you mean?
Like, what's the,
Yes, but then it was a big deal because the men were going to school and the women were increasingly being used as mothers. They were being groomed to be mothers. So 13, 14, they do the bragro or the depot or something, and they send you off to go and give birth, because that is what a woman must be. So for us, the society has already been toxically masculinated right from wherever it's coming from. Maybe it's our modern day men and the people of the other gender who are now finding new names for what already exists. But you see, whether it is overt or covert, it is something that we need to gather and fight against. However trivial we think it is operating within any environment, it shouldn't be encouraged, because it produces in itself a form of aggression.
A form of entitlement.
And that is what I hate, that when men think they own us, like, and in some communities, even in Ghana now, women are just chattels. They will count everything, including animals, before they count a woman, because you are part of the man's property. Oh, you're a so he will count everything and name them. He will take a census of everything and then say, oh, I have 3,000 animals plus one woman. Yes, because you are part of his properties that he has to account for, and not part of his life. Because for all you know, you were bundled and thrown to his house one morning, and you were just told, he has come to marry you, he's paid your bride price, this is your husband, go and live with him. And so you are not even part of the family. And it is happening in our current system, our current Ghanaian system. Maybe, as you rightly said, in cosmopolitan Accra or in the other areas, you might not find people ordinarily doing this, because it looks a bit antiquated and a bit outmoded. And you might rather attract a lot of stares when you go about certain things. I mean, being so steeped in culture and religion and all. But trust me, this is just the fringes. When you go deeper, you find some of these cultural practices and extremely toxic masculine nature in the communities, and the women are enduring them, the societies are enduring them, and they have become a nightmare to everybody.
So, I mean, as you are speaking, I'm thinking about tradition.
Yes.
And I'm trying to draw in my mind's eye the difference between tradition or culture and toxic masculinity, if there is a line in the first place? Because I'm thinking about everyday activities, Adipa. So, for example, there's a group of us at work. Somebody brings kinky and fish. Maybe there's 6 men and 3 women in a team. Automatically, the men sit, and the women are almost forced to move towards the food to organize it.
Yes.
On the other hand, you may be in an office, the ceiling falls down, the women run to one corner, and the men kind of,
Yes.
So the thing is, where is culture? Where is tradition? And when do all those little things that we naturally do, because then you may have the nature versus nurture argument, but when do all these things then become toxic?
So, Animwaa, we are a creation. I'm talking about the female and male systems. We are a creation of society.
For now, it's male and female. In a few years, there to be male, trans male, cis male. Why?
So
the way it's going. So for now,
until
we
then,
are male and female.
Until
yeah.
then, yes, until then, you are male and female. But whoever comes to join us in this cohort,
Yeah.
yes, he will come with his own problems, and we'll deal with it when he
Of course,
appears.
yeah.
But we are a creation of society. Our culture has naturally molded us. If it's not our culture, really, we may not be fighting certain things that are being introduced to us, because culture doesn't accept this. Our culture says that this, that. So we are a creation of what of our different culture. And I must say emphatically that our culture is beautiful. Our laws, let me say, anything that is contrary, to the human rights provisions in the Constitution must be declared unconstitutional. You understand that? So anything or any cultural practice that actually saps away or takes away your human right, it's not permitted by law. And consistently, the courts have quashed certain, inimical cultural practices, trokosi, some widowhood rights and all. So, yes, we are growing as a society, and we are trying to fine-tune how we live culturally. But I must say that our culture is very beautiful, and I'll be the last to say that let's depart from our culture, and naturally men lead. We can't run away from that as women. We lead, yes, but naturally I think the role of a man is leadership.
Sometimes I think that, and forgive me, I agree with you when you say men lead. But sometimes I think men lead on the outside, or they lead for show. Because most men who are leading have a woman behind them almost pulling the reins.
Definitely. You see, but that doesn't put us in subservience to the men. All right. But the honor and the dignity and the respect,
the reverence
that we have
all
to
of that
accord
goes
to a man has been culturally defined. You understand? Because you grew up having such deep reverence for your father, and that permeates through your relationships with other men.
Of course.
Because I can't necessarily tell my father this or my brother that. How can I tell another man that? It's part of our culture. We were trained in a certain way, or socialized to respect men.
Was that a good thing? Because that also created a culture of abuse.
So that is where the toxicity comes in. So it's not just about the masculinity, but the toxicity of it is what we are discussing. So I recall that when you were having your discussion with Emefa, you were saying that, we want the men to be all nice and masculine. And now we come back screaming that they are being toxic. If you are being toxic, you are being toxic. And so you are a man, you are doing a few things, or you are doing what the man is supposed to do. But must I be beaten? Must I be your object of aggression? You understand?
Yeah.
Must you show a lot of sexism and stereotyping towards me because you are a man. Hell no. So that is where it becomes toxic. So the parts, I went into the law because the parts that are toxic are being dealt with
By the law.
by the law.
Hence domestic violence,
Yes.
rape, child
Yes.
marriage,
Yes.
even to other things like female genital
Yes.
mutilation
Yes.
and
They are
yeah.
all outlawed. And that is why it's a criminal offense. Because otherwise, then somebody will ask, yes, she's my daughter. I say the thing should be cut. What's your problem? But it's been outlawed. It's a criminal offense and you can't just do it. You understand? Though it is cultural, but it has a lot of human rights violations embedded in there, abuse embedded in there, and the law will not permit anybody's human rights to be taken.
To be violated.
Yes, to be taken away or violated. So the excesses are what the law is dealing with. But the line between culture, tradition, and masculinity is definitely there. It's there. All this while it's been there. But where it becomes a bit nuanced is when the toxicity comes in. And that is where a man is aggressive, he's obviously irresponsible, but wouldn't accept his irresponsibility and wants to dump it on the woman. Have a very toxic relationship with everybody else, not just the woman in his life, but the relationship between him and his children are toxic. The relationship between him and mind you, if you are a subordinate to such a man, you are doomed.
Yeah.
And if you are a boss, you are doomed. Because whichever way, he will fight you.
The disrespect will come
Yes.
through. Yeah.
Because if you're a boss, I won't allow this woman to dictate to me. He will fight you. If you're a subordinate, then I must oppress you for you to obey me. So they are all around us, and this is how we produce them. But the lines are always drawn between culture, tradition, and masculinity. It's the toxicity that becomes a problem.
Wow. Very interesting. I'm listening to you and I'm wondering who fuels this toxicity, men or women, even more, because I'm thinking about for example, in the past when a woman is being beaten and she goes home, and she obviously you run home to your mom and your mom says, hey, it's fine, exactly, like, do you know what I've been through? Why do you think that you can't, so then I ask the question that who is fueling the toxic masculinity? Is it the men, or are we women also responsible for enabling it to continue?
This is very dicey, because how can I say this against the people of my gender?
You have to talk against the people of your gender.
But when they say that women are our own enemies, I tend to agree as much. And it's amazing and it's surprising that the things that were done to us, we want to see others go through the same thing. I was beaten, so I wanted to be beaten. I'm unhappy, so I wanted to be unhappy. I am uncomfortable, so I want her to be uncomfortable. But when it comes to the man, then it's more like, okay, the man can go away scot-free with whatever he's doing because he is a man. So for me, on a scale of 1 to 10, I would say that basically women have fueled this against themselves. Putting, let's say, the man on such a high pedestal and making the man look like a mini god, sort of sometimes, and putting ourselves under their feet. The moment we structure our organizations and other things like that, then we,
are fueling.
We are fueling and perpetuating it at the same time against our own
ourselves.
Yes, because at the end of the day, the aggression is not going anywhere. It's coming back to you.
Yeah.
If you are a wife.
Oh, well, hello, Esinam. Nice of you to join us.
Such an introduction. What are you disagreeing
What are you disagreeing about?
I don't think that it's women who made it.
Yes, so you see, so I said that carefully. If you
I think that it's the way society evolved. We came from the hunting gathering era, where the strongest were the ones leading. The person who had the ability to physically fight and subdue an animal was the one who made sure that there was food at home, and to be that kind of tough person, we have conditioned our mind to kill anything emotional, anything mental, in order to have the toughness to be able to go out, stand in the rain, not care about anything to get money for the family. But that doesn't mean that we need to, kill all our emotions and kill our emotional side in order to assume a certain toxic veil before we would be able to do what we're supposed to do for our family. But I think it's coming from there, and what we have done is enable it. Do you get what I mean? I don't think we created the system. I think we have enabled that system where men are able to be their toxic selves, because that is what we have grown used to. Now, instead of us looking at our children, because most of us, we cannot change those we came with, or we cannot effect any significant change. The change would come from our children. We nurturing our children into growing up to be more emotionally sensitive men, because children, as they're growing up, they grow up on, let's say, a level playing field. Their innocence is as pure as ever. It is we who socialize them into what to be. We give them information as to what a man is supposed to be or what a woman is supposed to be according to our standards and our perspectives. So growing up, what you heard is what you accepted. Now, if you've accepted it and built a level of conviction for it, changing it is going to be very, very hard.
Difficult, yeah.
So I think that for our peers or our husbands and our brothers, the best we can do is to lead them to the light,
Christ.
right? To the light. But the ability to change, or the change that we want, would come when mothers impact their sons.
We hadn't actually gotten to change.
We haven't even gotten there.
Yeah, but
the argument.
I mean, where I started from, I think
evolves
Yeah,
naturally.
exactly.
Yes, it does. It does. But the question is, who is fueling this toxicity?
Who is enabling it?
Yes.
Women.
Oh, yes.
So you don't actually disagree with
Yes.
him?
So you.
But no, she said who. She mentioned somebody created it.
No,
So-
no. The
no.
question was actually who is
I heard
enabling
it.
and who is fueling. Yeah.
Okay.
But I mean, Adepa started from the viewpoint of feminine.
Feminism.
It's all that word always gets started from that viewpoint, and how it was born, how we even began to define it as toxic. But I think what Esinam is also saying is that these toxic traits were actually always there from the beginning.
They were survival and adapting coping mechanisms. You get it. There were things that we had to assume to be a certain
You
to
mean
survive.
men had to assume?
Yes, men had to assume to survive. Imagine having to go to war. Most of the men who went for different wars come back with different mental illnesses and different
Yeah, of course. I mean, the
circumstances.
trauma from war
Exactly.
and all of that.
So and because we came from an era where you had to fight to eat, you had to fight to win, you had to fight to be ahead. Now you have to think to be ahead, but then you had to fight
to actually physically
fight. And so you couldn't afford any level of emotionality. You can't afford to be an emotional being if you have to fight.
But a
to
lack of emotion
Yes,
is not then toxicity.
It's not toxicity.
Because you don't have
no,
to
but
be.
that has
Exactly.
evolved. Because
so the lack
again,
of emotion has
evolved.
into-
Do you get it into?
No, we don't get it.
I need. Okay.
Because
This
there are
is
people
what I'm
who are
saying.
not emotional but are kind.
Yeah.
And they're not beating their wives.
Right.
So are you saying that the lack of feeling or the lack of empathy then, says, okay, well, I'm just going to beat you.
So I grew up in a home where my father was a soldier or something. My father, growing up, all my father would tell me is, you have to be a man must be this way, a man must be that way, a man must be this. It's an example. It's an example. A man must be this way, a man must be that way. I'm growing up, also learning different things from school. So then I have to combine the two concepts I'm learning. Like school and exposure is teaching me that I'm supposed to be this way. My father, who also raised me, has also instilled in me these values, that this is how I'm supposed to be. So then I'm in the middle, I'm in a crossroads where sometimes I'm toxic, sometimes I'm nice, or sometimes I'm kind,
And you find that with most African men, it's almost a balance of
Yeah.
sometimes I'm toxic,
Yeah.
Sometimes I'm
not.
kind.
But the toxicity is like me a bema,
Me a bema.
And in
the
the
vibe,
midst of
yeah.
it's heightened in the midst of peers. I think that men also enable toxic masculinity
yes.
in a lot of ways. And
They enable it in public, and then they come and then they are nice to their women in private
yes,
because. I mean, you look like you're the guy.
and a bema
Yeah.
pan now what you're washing your wife's clothes. A man is not supposed to do this. A man, you have
You see,
to be
so
a
that
man.
is where we spoke about culture,
Yeah.
tradition, socialization,
Yes.
and toxicity. You see,
Yep.
because we have been socialized to admit that
Mm-hmm.
a woman's role is in the kitchen, a man's role is to go and hunt and
Not
bring.
necessarily kitchen. Now that they've said a woman takes care of the home.
Okay,
So it's not
the
necessarily
woman is the
kitchen.
homemaker.
Exactly.
But kitchen ara.
last.
The heart of the home. If there's no food in the house,
Last is back to the kitchen.
Kitchen. You understand? So we have said that it is how we have been socialized right from the days of our grandmothers. And ours is better. Ours is a very nice story when we have men who, don't mind doing a lot of domestic stuff to support us.
I have a problem. And so it's my problem because it's on what
Yes.
when you said that we have a lot of men who are nice and they decide to support us.
Yeah.
I've noticed that in my interactions with people, their husbands, their fathers, and everything, that when a man does something in the house, so for example, he does the dishes or he makes dinner or something, it's an event.
Yes.
have-
We're
It's
supposed
like-
to celebrate
that must
the
be
bare
celebrated.
minimum.
I'm helping you
You
to
see?
clean the kitchen and the
Exactly.
plates that
Exactly
I
my
ate
point.
in. Like I am helping
You're
you
not helping
by bathing for
anybody.
the baby or changing the like I'm helping. So even though we've come, my point is that even though we've come far, it's still something we celebrate and we actually are very, wow, this man is amazing. He helps me in the kitchen or he helps with the children. Anka, what should he do?
That is the question.
That is
Because
the
right now
question.
the real
Whose house
question
is
is
it?
what is your emphasis? Because economically,
Now-
men
now
are
it's-
matching women. Women are matching
Oh,
men.
now
We
it-
both have the capacity
Now
to
it's
earn.
sometimes 70-30.
So
Yep.
70-30.
yeah.
Sometimes it's 25-75.
Or sometimes it's 100-0.
Sometimes it's 100-0.
You ladies shouldn't do that. Please be kind.
No, we are having an honest
I know, but please
conversation.
be kind. 100-0, dear.
There are
Let's move
instances.
on.
There are instances where women are earning more than men, so it's not a question of who earns and who is financially providing to the home. You live in the house, you have to take care of the house.
See,
If
that
you're living alone, wouldn't you take care of your own house?
Maybe not. She has Amma to come and do the washing week one.
Wow.
Equia comes to do the washing and cooking week two.
So what of those who don't have this list of women?
you see, so we are back to the same point. At what point does masculinity
Become toxic.
Exactly.
Okay, so now for a second, let's try and define masculinity. What is the beauty in? Because we talk about the bad side a lot, so let's take a
Yeah.
minute and just
And
what
talk
is
about,
the beauty
like,
in the masculine
a good
apart from a
man.
tight butt and six pack, like a six pack? What is
Wow,
the
it's
beauty?
not limited to just
It's
that.
not. I am saying that's. I mean, what is the beauty in the masculine? Because let's celebrate that, and then we can. You see that the line
Yes.
between the
Yeah.
and
and
the
the
head.
Enye will all up
So
here.
so for you,
For
Esina,
me,
what's the-
a good man is
a
or-
good masculine energy.
So
the
masculine energy
yeah.
for me is more of guidance, protection,
leadership.
support being the most important for me, because I have my journey, I'm moving on, he has his journey, he's moving on. I'm coming into his life to support with everything I've got. He's supposed to be able to come to support me with everything he's got as
And
well.
the two energies are so different. The masculine
Exactly.
energy and
The support
feminine
from a
energy.
man,
Very
the support
different.
from a woman, they are distinct. And I have seen support firsthand. somebody who is there, who is there to hold you. You know that whatever happens, if I did a trust fall right now, he will be there to hold me. That is masculine energy. Somebody who hears you out, knows what's going on in your life, offers solutions to your problems, offers support. Can we pray about this? Can we do this? Can we do that? Can we do this? Direction, guidance, because the same energy I am feeding back to him. The same nurturing energy in my own femininity, enjoying who I am as an individual versus who he is as an individual, and again for the fact that he's a man, the strength and everything that he comes with. Fantastic.
Because a man's strength, I mean, so if you're listening to us and maybe this is the first time that you're hearing about masculine energy versus feminine energy, I think we should maybe just 2 minutes kind of just take us through a bit of the differences between, because if we talk about strength, for example, there's the masculine energy level of strength, and then there's the feminine energy level of strength.
Yes.
And they're very different.
They're very different.
So can we just talk about that a little bit so that, our listeners kind of really get a sense of what we're...
I think biologically men and women are
yes.
different. And men are stronger
physically
Yeah.
than women.
That's what they say, but then we also know that a woman who goes through labor feels the pain of like
it's still
160 something.
It's still not the same. You see,
Physically, the
that's
ability to
physically.
lift heavy things.
The ability to, yeah.
The strength,
The
like physical strength.
Ahoɔden.
That's what we're talking about.
Metro. Women, men have the capacity to do that, but the woman's capacity
The
to
woman's
give birth,
strength, yeah, exactly.
that is God given.
The strength to be able to give birth. That was to take
A
another
man
level of
can
strength.
never have it.
Enduring the endurance, good. I think that women,
Or we should
are
give it a
ab-
better word, long suffering.
Women.
I think
Yeah,
we were able
so-
to endure. And I think that's one thing. It's not to celebrate suffering per se, but we're able to tolerate it if we have to. We're able to survive. Women are survivors for the most part, and most times women are multipliers.
Yes.
They add things to your life. They pick what you have
Your
in a
seed,
zero,
and
and
then
then they
multiply
multiply it.
Multiply it.
So even if you have just Gary and stew, she'll find a way to make the
Gary photo.
Gary photo
jollof.
for you.
Some
You
sexy
know what I'm
Gary
saying?
photo,
Like
yeah.
the woman finds different ways to be able to multiply the existing things you have. So if you see that you keep spiraling down, it means that what you already had was negative energy, and that's why it keeps going down.
Yeah.
So you yourself, first of all, fill yourself with what's good, surround yourself with what's positive, and then your woman's influence on your life, and the feminine energy will be felt. I think also feminine energy thrives in a safe masculine environment. A woman is her best self when she has the best partner, best masculine partner. I watched a certain podcast. There were 4 black men who were talking about their relationships, how
Dear
they met.
Future Wifey? Was it Dear Future Wifey?
I don't
Okay,
remember
never
the
mind.
name, but I think I saw an excerpt of it on TikTok or Instagram. And they were talking about how they met their wives. And it was the first time I actually heard men describe
The
feeling of meeting their wives. They were actually in tune with themselves emotionally, and they were narrating how they felt. It's like, I've not seen any other person who's as beautiful as her. Like, they were talking about it in a way, and I'm like, this is not common.
No, it's not.
You don't find this a lot, but a woman will thrive with a man like that.
Oh, yeah, she'll
because
blossom.
because he in himself knows his emotions. He's emotionally intelligent. I think masculinity also should come with emotional intelligence. I wouldn't say comes with.
No, not yet.
Yes.
Okay,
and
so generally, men are not naturally emotionally intelligent, because I always say that we have the sixth sense. A woman can, determine something a kilometer away, and a man has no idea.
Yep.
And
Even
so,
after he has passed that kilometer.
yes,
Fam.
he has no idea.
can meet it.
But
greet
for
it,
me,
and pass.
the masculine energy is leadership. It's leadership. Support, yes. But everything, comes together under leadership. A man must have the vision that the woman is going to help him carry. So if you don't have any vision, why are we here? So you can't offer the kind of leadership the woman wants. It's not like a woman cannot lead herself.
Do
No.
women want leadership?
Question.
Don't we?
We want support.
I don't know if we
want
want
an
leadership.
environment. We want an environment where we can blossom, where we can
Everybody
grow.
wants an
That's
environment that she can blossom in. But I am saying that essentially, if the man is not leading you to the right places to even find yourself,
all. Right.
Are we dependent on men to
we
lead
are
us
not.
to find
No,
ourselves?
no.
I'm not coming at you.
Yes,
I'm just
I
trying
understand.
to understand.
Let me settle. What I mean to say is, you see, a man carries a certain vision. A woman also carries hers. Why do you need support? It's because you have a certain kind of vision, but you are coming together as a couple because you are trying to move a certain grand vision to a certain destination, to a certain point. That grand vision, because of the nuances or because of how it is, must be carried through the vision of the man that we are going here. That is leadership.
Adepa.
Tell me what your problem is. I don't know whether Animwaa, you are
I'm just on there. I'm not with you on it.
Okay, so what's
I'm
your
also
challenge?
struggling.
I'm struggling
because I'm
believe-
thinking about what you said, and I'm thinking that if I know where I'm going and you know where you're going, I'm not trusting you to get me to where I'm going. I want security, safety, support, and fun. I don't necessarily
Fantastic.
need your vision or your guide. Like I kind of know
no.
where I'm
See,
going.
Animwaa. Then otherwise, then there will be no need. I mean, we are digressing, but otherwise there will be no need for that companionship.
There is
No,
need. There is
Aha.
need,
but that's
it's
why
not for
that's
the
what I
vision.
keep saying every time, that there's nobody in their leadership role. It's a partnership. It's a union. It is me in my own, as my own self, as my own individual, and you as your own individual. We come together. We create what we call a shared vision. So our shared vision is for what both of us want to achieve together. But as an individual, I have my own goals and you have your own goals.
Indeed, we have a shared vision, but somebody must own the vision for us to go. It's a shared vision. It only becomes something on the drawing board, but somebody must own it. Even
But how about if it's like a car? Both of us own the car. Sometimes you drive, sometimes I drive.
good, but I'm saying that we are trying to highlight the beautiful side of men, right?
Okay, yes, we are.
So on that
So
score,
when they lead in that way,
exactly, that is what I am trying to
Okay.
to drive at. That at that point, it's not like we are subservient to them. I've kept on saying
you've
that.
said that so many times.
Yes, but we count on their leadership. It's like we have a shared vision to sit in this car and get to this destination. But please, can you drive? I'll give you the support you need from where I sit. And please, will you give me the support I need to, or will you listen to me when I say that this road has potholes? Because I can see from where I sit that just some few meters away, it's not even a pothole, it's a ditch.
Okay, so it's the two of you working
together,
Okay.
but under the guidance sort of the man leading the entire process for us to obtain a shared vision to get there.
Okay. I think I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
So that's one of the beautiful
Oh,
aspects of
Esinam doesn't understand.
masculine. I understand. I don't agree, but I understand.
you get
I understand.
At this point, I don't like. I agree to disagree.
I understand. We
We agree to
understand. So, I
disagree.
mean, the beautiful things about masculinity are
my
the
goodness.
leadership, the support. For me, leadership, when a man says that I want to lead you, I'm like, do you actually understand what you're saying? Because it means that when anything goes wrong, you are responsible. Something is wrong, you fix it. If there's an issue with the kids' school, you fix it. If I'm not well and I can't show up for something, you are doing it. If I have an assignment due and you say you are leadershiping in the house, then you do the research and you help me out when I'm sick. It means that will you give me a cold bath if my temperature? For me, that's what leadership is. It's taking care of. That's what leadership is for me. It's
Okay.
taking care of, is being the person that is responsible. It's like, okay, we need
And for
this.
me, I interpret that as support.
Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe we are saying the same thing. But from
But
They are not saying the same
I don't
thing.
think
Oh
we
my
are saying
They're
the
not
same.
saying this. I think Esinam and I are saying this.
so I am saying something different.
But anyway, we've
Yeah.
digressed.
Can we
I
move
think we've been trying to celebrate the things
Man.
that we look for as well. But tonight we're actually, if you just tuned in, we're talking about toxic masculinity, and we took a second to, kind of just enjoy the things about men, the masculinity of men, which is different from what women are. One of the things that I really enjoy about men is how they can spend a whole Saturday morning washing and cleaning their cars. It's the toys, the opening of
Gadgets.
the TV to just fix it. Those are very masculine things. The even sometimes this innate need to take control in the bedroom or like just that.
Oh, yes, we like that too.
Yeah, I mean those are the taking care of those are
We
the
like that
things.
masculinity very much.
Wow, I mean yeah.
Look
So,
at how you suddenly.
but then
lighten
you
up.
see these things that we enjoy can become toxic. So
Yeah.
for example, if
Yeah.
we're talking about sex, it will become toxic when you want to control and dominate all the time in the bedroom and you're not allowing the woman to also express herself sexually.
That is it.
So that's when something that is masculinely beautiful becomes toxic. Or when interesting conversation I was having with Kojiang, and he was telling me that in this same toxicity issue, that it used to be nice when you're dating someone and they're calling you and they're like, oh, are you okay? Where are you? What's up? What time are you coming home? But now when you try to do that, some women are like, this is toxic. And I was trying to explain to him that it's a thin line between where are you, babe? Because I'm a little worried, and where are you, babe? Like, now when you get home, there's going to be an argument because you said you were going to be home at 8 o'clock and not home at 8 o'clock. And did you know what I mean? Yeah. So there's that thin line between the chivalry and then the toxicity.
Yes.
So now let's talk about how we deal with it. How do we say, Esinam, what came into my head was no good.
We beg.
How do we say, I want you to care about me. So I want you to worry if you haven't heard from me in, let's say, 4 hours. And call me and be kind. But I don't want you to be controlling or communicate that in a way that makes me feel like I have to stop what I'm doing and come home.
Yeah.
Because that's the issue, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that when we communicate our needs, we need to be very clear. I don't think in this part of our world we know how to communicate our needs to our partners. I think most often we assume that they should observe and see it. Automatically know.
Mind readers.
Through telekinesis and telepathy. I will know what's going on in your head.
But do you know that when a mother trains her son well, it is not difficult for him to understand the basics of women.
Yes. I think Esinam has said this, and that can't be more true, you see, because...
Did we interrupt you?
Yes.
Sorry.
But it's fine.
Finish.
Go on.
Please finish.
Okay. So in being able to talk about your feelings, in being able to talk about not necessarily your feelings, your needs, I think that it will come back to my point that I've been making for the past 6 months. Know yourself. When you know yourself, you are able to spot what you need in this moment. Most often, when we are fighting, it's because a need of ours have not been met. But sometimes you are unable to know what need it is.
What it is.
What exactly you
Why
need.
am I
Because you may
upset?
be crying that the tap is not flowing.
Meanwhile, you are just
Meanwhile,
hungry.
you are just you just need to sleep.
Yeah, that too.
Or maybe you just need to eat. Or sometimes you need sugar. Sometimes you just need to hug your partner and you'll be fine. Or you miss somebody. You miss your mother, but you don't even know that you miss your mother because you're not in tune with yourself. You're not listening to your body. You're not listening to your heart. You're not listening to your mind. So you can't even communicate to your partner that this is what I need. So maybe, yes, you like it that he cares about you, but it's becoming excessive. I think unfortunately we won't be able to catch it till it's got to the point where you cannot come back. That's unfortunate. But when it happens, you should be able to say, babe, I appreciate you calling me and to check on me and all that. But sometimes when you say it like this, like this, like this, I feel this way, this way, this way.
And your response as babe shouldn't be, then it's okay, I won't call you at all.
Thank you.
Which is like a standard.
You should be able to listen to
and
the
recalibrate.
feedback and say, okay, then how would you want me to, or in what way do you think I can best show you that I care for you,
Yeah.
without having to be excessive
Or controlling.
or controlling.
You see, such a communication I'm just sharing an opinion, but it can probably happen when your man.
After sex.
No, oh, please, not after sex.
Everything is easier. Every conversation is easier. He's half asleep anyway, so he will agree.
Okay, but if that man is not naturally socialized in a certain way, under a very toxic and dysfunctional environment.
Auntie Asie.
Because you see, he grew up seeing daddy shout at mommy, "Where are you?" So to him, it is natural for him to ask, "Where are you?" Because that is where he's able to exercise his dominance over you, to know that I am your spouse, I am your...
Come home now.
Yeah, come home now.
I'm waiting
You
to
see,
eat.
so it's about the kind, and it happens a lot. If somebody is brought up in a very dysfunctional and toxic environment, trust me, regardless
will
of
need
how
to
hard you try
and learn,
yes,
relearn everything.
yes, to change him or to help him or her, evolve and come out of such a thing, it's an uphill task. So know yourself, but also know the background of your spouse or of the
Preferably
person.
before you marry them.
Thank
you.
you. But if you ignore a lot of red flags, you see, whilst you are dating, he's shouting, he's doing a few things, he's being aggressive.
He's shouting and you think it's sexy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or he's excessively attached to you and you think that is care. Please, he's looking for space to cut everybody off and abuse you.
Yeah.
You understand? So it's about knowing the background of the other person too. And if you think you can't endure, yesterday I told somebody, please, this one run. Don't think twice. Don't say you are going to take a decision. There's no decision to be made.
There is no...
Go, because this is something that has started in a relationship. And before you know it, it is blossomed in a marriage. And when it flowers like that, it's going to bear fruit. And a lot of it. And you will be the sole beneficiary
Of the fruit.
And if it's bitter, you have to eat it for the rest of your life. So know the background of your partner as well, because some people are naturally toxic because of what they have experienced in life and how they have been socialized, the environment in which they grew up. Some boys went through such excessive abuse when they were young or when they were at secondary school. When you meet a lot of boys, they talk about the little bullying, that happened at secondary school. Some of these things really had an impact on them because they were more like initiation rites into manhood,
into toxic masculinity.
Yes. And those things, instead of them teaching them that, men must be this, man, was being used to teach them that if you're a man, you have to dominate like this.
Yeah.
Which brings me to the point where men are mostly the victim of toxic masculinity, but mostly they don't know. They are unable to know how toxic masculinity is even affecting them.
Because they haven't defined what good, pure, beautiful masculinity is. Yeah.
Because you think that having headache just because you are the sole provider and you are the sole protector and you are the man of the house and you are keeping everything to yourself
means that you are
a man.
A lot more men commit suicide than women, because women, we will talk about our problems, but men will. Let me just quickly do the messages. Islam, can you do them for me? I think you have a better view.
Okay. Good evening, Animwaa, and your knowledgeable panel. Toxic masculinity has been with us since Adam, and in our part of the world, it is so because most of the responsibilities in the society are left for men to perform, even if women can perform. And by so doing, eventually results in men being so powerful in our society. And that is from Ike, the Chancellor from Kumasi. Another one says, good evening, Animwaa, and the whole caboodle. Wow, what a word.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
Right?
Ike Dogwera from Nungwa. Thank you for the message. This is quite an interesting conversation. Please, is it safe to say that toxic masculinity is generational? Like a father will train his son to be toxic just because he was also taught to be same, especially those who are raised in rural areas. Because majority of our Gen Zs, I can say, are learned and slowly moving away from that notion. I stand to be corrected though. I agree with you that it is generational. Very great discussion from this is from Vincent in Accra. It's funny when you see women who complain about masculine toxicity continue raising their sons to be the same way. Please, to be fair to both genders, discuss toxic femininity
All right. Okay.
next time. Okay, it also exists. All right. Hi, ladies. We have to let women be women and men be men by nature, with a few overlaps. No matter how educated Indians, Chinese, Nepalese, etc. are, they maintain this balance. Divorce is very low in these cultures because there's no battle for roles. Even 60 plus years ago, divorce was low in the West until they tried to change. Unfortunately, we Africans migrate to the West, switch to the Western way, and divorce has increased in our black communities. Please let women be women by nature and let men be men by nature. Ike in the USA sent it. Okay. Anymore, your one-sided conversation is so unfortunate.
Oh.
Saying because women contribute 75% more than men, women should rub shoulders with men in terms of leadership, work at home, etc. is absurd. Are you implying that the women who contribute more should be in charge? Then many women will be sorry in their marriages because any man who contributes more would be or should be a dictatorian. Be balanced in your submission.
I don't know if you
No,
caught
we
the whole
haven't- we
conversation.
haven't
Maybe
said
not.
that,
Yeah.
no.
Let's do this last one and then we have.
Okay,
to go.
so good evening, beautiful submissions on the topic of toxic masculinity and its effects on society. I agree to an extent that society needs to reform, but sometimes the minority groups play the ostrich because in certain circumstances, women get to take foothold in society and the noise goes down for personal interest. There are multiple ways women, even as they claim to be subdued, also promote toxic feminism in aid around their friends. Okay.
And family, but
Yeah.
as sweet like home. Okay, well, thank you all for sending
long
us. That's a long one, yeah. Thank you so much for your messages. A very big thank you to the whole team. Who knows? Maybe we'll have a conversation on toxic femininity. I think it's only fair. My name's Animwaa Anim-Addo. This has been Strong and Sassy. Thank you to Adipa and Esinam. Handing over to the news team for the 8 o'clock news now.